one of our new series titled Supreme. And the first week it was called Law of the Mirror.
So everybody out there, before we get started, we're starting off Supreme. I want to know my favorite food, for me specifically. I know I might be childish for this. It's pizza. And when they say Supreme, that's what I think about. I think about the pizza. So everybody out there, I want you to put your favorite toppings down, put your favorite type of pizza down. Let us know what your favorite type of pizza is.
And while y'all doing that, so this has been a controversial topic for quite some time, but do pineapples go on pizza?
Pineapples used to not belong on pizza.
And now they
But
do?
I've been converted. So pineapples can be on pizza.
But they should not.
No. Wait. What? No. They can be.
But they shouldn't, right?
No, I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm saying Hawaiian pizza is good pizza.
I'm going to let you have that.
What you mean?
It ain't the pizza for me.
At one point I really was like, what's going on? When I was younger, I was like, this is trash. Why would somebody do this? And then I got with my wife and she ordered it one time because she likes it. And I'm like, all right, let me just try it since you got it. And I tried it and I'm like, man, this is dope. I don't know what happened. What happened in transition?
Taste buds changed.
I don't know if it was just, but it's good now. And we ordered, if we get two pizzas, one is that. And one is like a regular pepperoni sausage.
Oh, so that done became a household pizza for you.
Now it's there. The kids even like it.
Okay.
I'm like, all right.
Yep.
But yeah. So, but what we want to talk about or we wanted to go into is one of my, if I had to choose, I would just go Supreme.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just something about Supreme because it's got everything I need. You know what I'm saying? Like it's got the veggies, it's got the meat.
Yep.
It's got, and then it's got the rest, the cheese with the, sauce,
Exactly.
all that. It's got everything I need, though.
Yep.
So why is God then Supreme? Because he's got everything we need.
Boom.
You know what I'm saying?
There we go.
So if your favorite pizza isn't Supreme, you got problems. No, I'm just playing. Like what you like. I'm just playing with you. But I'm just saying, God's got everything we need because he is Supreme.
Amen.
Now let's dig into this sermon here. The law of the mirror. That mirror is tough, man.
It is tough. And when you look at the mirror, what do you see?
Right.
Yeah. And what do you see about yourself? But we'll talk about it later. But how does God see you? Not just what you see in yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
But do you see what God sees as well?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we look in the mirror and we see our mistakes. We see what we've been through. We see our hardships. We see our struggles. We see, the strongholds. We see everything there. But we fail to see the potential that God has placed in us.
Yeah, and it has us thinking about that ceiling of who God is when we ponder on our setbacks, our mishaps, our difficult situations, and we don't see the bigger picture of who God really is because we just so consumed with what we've been through in our past experiences. So
right.
I think once we truly dive deeper into knowing who God is, that ceiling now is raised higher. Because you start to see yourself the way that he sees you.
Right. No, that's real. You can only go as high as you see as where you place God.
Yep.
So if God isn't placed high in your life, you can't go any higher than that. You know what I'm saying? If God is the supreme in your life, then you have the access to everything. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? To all that he has in you, to magnify the potential that you have, the gifts that are in you. If you put him in that supreme place, you might not see it now, but if you can see that, if you can see somebody with potential when you look in the mirror, and you don't just see your mistakes, and you don't just see, all the stuff that you've been through, and you can say, you know what, God, that was the past, and I know you can use it for your glory. So let's move from here, and God, let's go forward. And I think for me personally, that speaks a lot, especially within the time of, the pandemic, being at home, and really having to deal with myself. I started to see, not only did I deal with the negative things that are in me, You know what I'm saying? But because I got a chance to deal with those things, I started being able to kind of explore my interests. You know what I'm saying? Explore, like, outside of just being able to, talk about God. Yes. Being able to do, like, interested in, like, media stuff and writing and music and, like, just different ways, maybe just how I can be interactive outside of just, and then this opportunity came, the Rewind. Yep. So I'm grateful for this opportunity as well, to be able to just express myself and to be able to kind of broaden my, horizons, to be able to explore my potential. And, so opportunities just to be able to, but when it's when you stop dealing so much with yourself and stop focusing on your hurt and your pain so much and just give it over to God.
Yep.
Put him at that place, and he'll start to show you, look at this. Look, because you made room for it. Since you made room for him to move, he can be like, oh, look at this. Look what I put in you. Look what I got in you. Look, and then he'll show you different avenues, like you said.
He'll connect you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll connect you to those resources. And, like, you touched on it as you were just speaking, but, like, having the opportunity to, like, do something such as this, like the Rewind, and, like, even me personally being able to, over the summer while we were at the park, having the opportunity to host, one Sunday. And I, like, some of those opportunities, like, they came because I was like, well, during a pandemic, well, you're just kind of doing your regular job, not really. This is a time to explore and kind of find what other things are you interested in, and you talk to God about it, and He'll start pointing things out. And so, like, to have this opportunity to be here up on the stage and just to discuss His Word and, like, to hopefully encourage not just one another, but also the people that are watching this as well. Like, it's just an awesome opportunity and platform to do that.
Right.
And given the time, obviously we need to take advantage of the online world, and so
right.
It's really amazing just to be able to take part in something like this. So, man, I'm just thankful, when I am able to be up here and just chop it up with you and just discuss the Lord's word.
Now you're just sucking up, man.
No,
no, I appreciate it, man. Like, but that's real. Like, because with me, like, I wasn't on social media much throughout the past, throughout my 20s. I kind of stayed away from it because I knew my struggles. I knew certain, I just knew what I needed to avoid. You know what I'm saying? So I avoided stuff so much that I didn't give myself a chance to explore potential in certain areas. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So now that I've gotten to a certain point where I'm on social media and I'm starting to see, using different avenues to, to share, God's word, to share jokes, to just be myself. To explore the media aspect with the I love doing the stories on there with the music and the pictures, and I love doing that. There's something about it, and it just allowed me to see, like, oh, I do got interest in this. Maybe this is something I can explore, But before I couldn't do it because I was too afraid of myself, But like Pastor Brian said, he was talking about identity, and he was basically saying your identity journey must begin with a high view of God. It's kind of saying, like, you can only, like we were saying before, you can only go as high. You know what I'm saying?
How you see God in your life. Right. Yeah, exactly. How you see him that's how far your life can be.
Right. Yeah. So if I'm so scared of myself, if I look in the mirror and I'm scared of myself so much, then I'm only putting God so high. You know what I'm saying? But obviously we're supposed to be self-aware of our weaknesses. We're supposed to be self-aware of, what we know we struggle with. Because that thorn is always going to be there, like we were talking about the other week. Mm-hmm. But you also can't be so scared of yourself that you don't allow God to use you. You don't allow God to move through. You don't allow yourself to explore your gifts in God.
We can even take that one step further back with the unplugged.
Right.
Yeah, we can even take that back and say, you getting your juice, from God. He giving you all these gifts, but you too scared to unplug and go and serve others.
That's good, bro.
Exactly. So I'm like, well, we're gonna take it even a few more weeks back, and how this all plays in full circle right here.
So now you're damaging yourself because you're scared of yourself. So you just stay hooked up to the wall. And now you're being overrun with things that you're not using.
Yep,
you know what I'm saying? So now it damages you more than it actually helps you, because going out and actually using your gifts is what actually helps you, so you can come back and then juice up with God.
Yes, sir.
So, but that word identity, bro, I think is scary to me sometimes, especially when it gets brought up, because it's like it's hard to, like, I'll be like, God, what is my identity? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do I really see? When I look in the mirror, like everybody out there, like you. When you look in the mirror, you know that one day you see this and one day you see that, and I think sometimes if you have God at that supreme place, whether you feel great when you wake up or whether you feel bad when you wake up, as long as God is in that high place, when you look in the mirror, you can always see potential.
Exactly. Because you're confident because you know who you are in Christ.
Right.
Exactly. And that you're a child of God and that he loves you. He cares for you. He
Right.
won't leave you nor forsake you. He's going to be there with you down in your poor seasons. He's going to be there in your high seasons. But when you understand and truly get to know who he is, like you said, when you wake up, it's just a better start to your day.
Right.
When you look in the mirror and it's not like, oh, nah, I got the freshest gear on or I done got the cleanest haircut. Nah, you don't.
It doesn't matter, right?
You're not putting your identity into that.
Right.
It's just that, hey, God, I know you know me and I know you know my heart, Lord, and just help me just continue to serve you in a greater capacity and just lead me where you want me to go.
Right.
In that sense.
It's humbling.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
very.
To wait, because then it's not predicated on how you feel. Because if you're relying on yourself or you don't have God at a high place in your life, you know what I'm saying? Then when you wake up, however you feel is how your day is gonna go. Like if you wake up and you feel some type of way, you feel like then the rest of your day is gonna be like if you can't put your in God's hands.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then you're just gonna be like the rest of the day, and the next day you might wake up and your day is gonna be like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But you're always up and down. But if you can place God supreme in your life, he's always constant.
Yeah.
So he's constant, consistent, so you can always just place however you feel in his hands.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Because God might not want you to be super giddy today. But you be like, but giddy rules your day because you wake up giddy, and he's like, no, I need you to chill a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to see somebody that, and that giddiness is going to get on their nerves, and then you're not going to be able to be used by me. So, but you never know, because a lot of times we run off of our emotions, we run off of our feelings, but don't run off of God's spirit and God's presence in our life. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't hold him at that high regard.
Exactly. And I could even add to that and say it might be dependent upon situations. Like something good could happen. Say, oh, it's a great day. Thank you, God. You're so good. The next day, something bad happened. Oh, God, what you doing to me, man? Like, so it could be situational, which we got to get away from.
So who's really your God? Is
Yeah.
God actually supreme, or is what happens to you your supreme?
Yeah. Is it the situation? The
Situation?
experience?
Yeah, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So that day something bad happens, so now you like, oh, my life sucks. Next day something good happens, you're like, oh, look, God
Thank you,
loves
God.
me today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No, God loves you every day regardless of, and that's what faith is, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's what we don't see. We're not supposed to walk by sight. We're supposed to walk by faith. What does that mean?
Yep.
And that means I'm not supposed to walk by the stuff that so if something bad does happen, I'm supposed to walk like that. I'm supposed to walk knowing that God is there even though
Exactly.
something bad did happen.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And we get so caught up in just how it affected us. Now we're like, oh, man, I feel like crap. And then you look in the mirror and you look like crap. And you're like, oh, I'm crap. And then crap
day
happens
gonna
to
be
you.
crap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your day, and then just crap happens.
Yeah, your attitude all messed up.
You know what I'm saying?
get
But
up
if
on
he's
the
at that
news.
high regard, you can look in the mirror and you be like, you know what? Get it together, man. You got God on your side.
Yeah, that's my
You know what I'm
daddy.
saying?
That's my father.
Right.
And he gonna get me straight. So
Right.
exactly. Put my faith in that. No matter what's going on around me, just
Right.
know that at the end of the day, God's with me. And he's gonna hold my hand and walk me through whatever today brings.
Right. And that was big. And that was big for me because I was in this place of I want to say it was like I was in a place where I was really like, humbling myself, but at the same time it was really somber. You know what I'm saying? Like it was all about my inner struggle, and it was always about my fight, and it was all about I'm my worst enemy. And it makes sense because we are, but at the same time, if I just rest in that and I don't rest in my potential in God, because it's like you can have weaknesses, you can be weak, but if you're in God and He's at that supreme level, then you don't have to worry about it.
Mhm.
You don't have to worry about those weaknesses. You don't have to worry about them because you can just lean on Him and be like, God, I know you got me. God, I might have made a mistake, but I mean you. I know you got me. The mistake is for your good. The mistake is for your glory. I don't have to be so caught up in beating myself up. I don't have to be so caught up in overthinking. You know what I'm saying? I'll stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning for no reason, just because I'm thinking about this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? Everybody out there knows, like all my overthinkers out there, you know that it's hard when you just start thinking. You know what I'm saying? It's like getting to sleep. For me, it's just like I feel like I didn't fulfill the day, or I didn't do this, or I didn't do that. And God's like, just chill. You know?
And it makes me think of like, because, I'll overthink depending on, certain situations. And then I start to think, what can I do?
Right.
And that's like some of my biggest downfalls is like, it's not about what I can do. It's more so, hey, God, show me what I should do.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I kind of get myself in trouble, because when you get into situations, you're like, man, okay, what can I do? How can I fix this?
Right.
But
Oh, yeah.
I can't fix it.
Right.
Yeah, it's something that only God can really show me how to go about something. So it's like you just said, it's about being patient.
Right.
And sitting back and like, just talking to God and letting Him, provide the way for you, rather than you trying to rush and make decisions.
Rush the process, yeah.
Exactly. And then just get yourself stuck in a jam.
Yeah, it's I guess to to speak to what you said, it's not about what we can do. It's about what he's already done.
Ooh, yes,
Because
sir.
at the end of the day, that's the foundation, is what he's done.
Yep.
He was slain at the foundation of the world. You know what I'm saying? That's there, the lamb. You know what I'm saying? Like his blood washes me. You know what I'm saying? His love covers me.
Yep.
His grace is there all the time. So it's like I pursue because I have that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about what I can do. It's about the fact that I have this, and this is what I'm going to run with. You know what I'm saying? Like I look in the mirror and I see God's grace. You have to look in the mirror and see God's grace. You can't look in the mirror and see your mistakes. You got to see like you don't truly have Jesus. You don't truly have God if you can't look in the mirror and be like, you know what? I see his blood. You know what I'm saying? Or I see what he did for me. Or I see what he gave to me. Or I see how he loved me. You know what I'm saying? And we look in the mirror and we forget that. We see our mistake from yesterday.
Exactly.
Like, don't see your mistakes from yesterday because your mistake doesn't overpower his love. It doesn't overpower what he did. You get what I'm saying? So,
And he's already knows what your future mistakes are. He knows, obviously, your past as well.
right.
And is like, he's already forgiven us.
Yeah.
And that's something that, some people may not think of or remember in the moment when you're thinking about yourself, but it's like God's already forgiven you. He's
Right.
already understood, whatever actions you may have committed, and it's like, all right, obviously it wasn't good, but it's like, I still love you today, and I want you to get back on the right track. So my arms are open. Come,
Right.
follow me. Yes.
Right. And then so that goes to then where Pastor Brian was in Exodus, and he everybody this is the story of Moses. I don't know if you heard of him, but Moses was the guy that helped the Hebrews get out of Egypt from Pharaoh. And this is when he first gets called to do so. And we are in Exodus 3, verse 14, where he says, or Moses asks him, who should I say sent me?
Mm-hmm.
And God replies to Moses, I am who I am. Say this to the people of Israel, I am has sent me to you. God also said to Moses, say this is to the people of Israel, Yahweh, the God of your ancestors, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my eternal name, my name to remember for all generations. So he's basically saying, like, I am that I am. Like, you don't have to worry about what you're incapable of. You don't have to worry about what your weaknesses are because I sent you. Like, if you're on this earth and you're breathing breath, God has sent you to something, Like, we are sent to something because you can't be here without purpose. You get what I'm saying? So I am sent you. So look in the mirror. Next time you look everybody put that in the chat, say, I am sent me. Next time you look in the mirror, say, I am sent me. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really what it is. I'm covered by the grace. I am sent me to somebody. My mistakes aren't just to be mistakes. My mistakes are for somebody else's benefit. Or to share with somebody else, to help somebody else, to deliver somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Because God didn't just love me, so I wouldn't go share the love with somebody else. So I would be all somber about my weaknesses, all somber about my mistakes. No, he sent me. I am sent you. He covered you with his grace, so you would be sent.
Yeah. And we all have unique experiences, unique lives. We're all different. But what we learn in that moment, you don't know how that's going to help somebody else in the future.
Right.
It's just like, so what you experience and knowing and having God with you is that we may not understand it in this moment, but who knows, a year from now, a few years from now, right, you might come across somebody and you have something that could really uplift them and encourage them because you've experienced it and God has set it up for this moment to where you could be just somebody who can be there out of support for whatever reason for somebody.
Right. No, that's real. We get so caught up in wanting microwavable stuff.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? When God is like, no, I need to cook a home-cooked meal. It's going to take, I need you to sit at the table and wait. Yep. Because you never know. I got people coming, and the meal is for them. You know what I'm saying? But you want something quick. You just want to keep getting quick blessings, but you don't actually want God to deal with you. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't actually know that down the line, like you said, that this person is going to show up, and I'm going to need this time to deal with you. So when they do show up, you can be a blessing to their life.
Indeed. Yep.
So, what Pastor Brian mentioned was when you know whose you are, you discover who you are. So that's pretty much like when we give ourselves to God, we're able to see our potential in God. We're able to recognize our gifts a little more because we're not so distracted by our mistakes.
And you start to realize, and Pastor Brian talked about when he was back in his football days where he understood that once he had success, playing football, he had it in him the whole time. and when you start to realize who you are, it unlocks a whole nother side of potential
Right.
that you never had before. And now you're starting to walk in more confidence because you know who you are. You live a life of purpose because you know that you're starting to understand that I'm breathing, I'm up, is because God has something for me today.
Right.
Exactly. I'm here to, carry out His will that He has, set for me.
Right. Yeah, we get caught up in doubt. We get caught up in ourselves, man. Like a lot of times we'll do something and then we'll feel like we're not forgiven for it. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not actually walking in what God did because we feel we'll make a mistake and be like, dang, does God forgive me for this? Like it's already forgiven.
Yep.
Get up and keep moving. As long as you got the right intentions, get up and keep moving. You know what I'm saying? Because you're in God and God's gonna share it. But it's like every day we make a mistake and then we'll be like, dang it, I can't do it anymore. Because we feel like how people are gonna look at us. But God's not looking at us how people look at us.
Not at all.
People see our mistakes. People see that I said that one day, or people say that I did this that one day. But God is like, but I need you to do something now. I got something I need you to do in the future. You know what I'm saying? But we get so caught up on what I just did, or what just happened, or maybe what I did back then. You know what I'm saying? We don't accept God's forgiveness into our life and hold Him at that, like we said, that supreme level.
Yeah, and then you just to add on what you just said, you think about what people think of you, and like, oh, because you made that mistake, or like, and now you think they have a different kind of view towards you, when it's like God already erased, He already cleaned my board, and it's like, so I'm not gonna worry about what you care or how you see me.
Right.
I'm worried about, hey, what can I do today to keep in good grace with God?
Right.
Exactly.
I think that's one of the best parts, bro. Honestly, like one of the best parts, not making a mistake, but one of the best parts is having somebody doubt you or doubt the God in you, and then God shows up anyway. Or
like
God
that.
shows Himself, or God shows His glory, and you're like, I mean, it is what it is.
I stayed faithful.
Bro, I just tried to keep leaning on Him, and He showed up. You know what I'm saying?
I love that how you just said that. Yeah, because I mean, people that may not be a believer and they just see how your life is going, but it's like when you start to have these breakthroughs and you start to overcome and achieve, and they can't understand like, oh, how is this person doing these things? And it's like, I stayed faithful and I stayed, talking with God and letting Him just guide me and drive me to where He needs me to be.
Yeah, right. That's real.
I saw you. Something here. It said your action and your purpose are driven by who you believe you are.
Right.
I love that, because once you understand who you are, now you start to walk with a purpose. You have more drive. You have just a whole new attitude and energy to how you want to live out your life.
Right. When I've actually accepted what He's done for me, I now have the fuel to pursue after the things that are there for me.
Yes.
A lot of people are so busy or so caught up on not wanting to believe in God or not wanting to believe what Jesus has done. But if you accept it and you really just allow His love into your life, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like we were talking about, like we really just don't want to accept that it's true. Mm-hmm. But if you can accept that it's true and walk off that motivation and walk based off of that, you can pursue after whatever you want or whatever God has for you. Not what you want, but whatever God has for you. You know what I'm saying? And you can explore so many different things and so many different avenues because you now know who you rest with. Yep. You now know where your strength lies, where your peace lies, And
I will say, once you really start to know God, the things that He wants, you're going to want them too.
Right.
Because now you're starting to grow in sync.
Right.
And it's like the stuff that you used to want, that doesn't appeal to you anymore. It's now, okay, like this is not something normally I would want to do or go after or talk to that person, but something now is inside of me, in my heart. Right, it's like I'm gonna go in this direction now and choose to do these things, and I think it's starting where you start to align yourself. You
might be a guy that likes meat lovers, but God is like, but in me, I need you to get supreme. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I need you to get those veggies in your life. You know what I'm saying? Because you clogging everything up with all this meat and not letting anything help it clear out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but we like the things that we like, and we always think that God is gonna stop us from liking stuff. But at the same time, why? When you get into God, you realize, I didn't even really need that. You realize what you don't need and what you should pursue after. And I think it's tough because we get so scared, like God's going to take this from me. God's going to, no, just focus on pursuing, and you realize you'll start to learn what is good for you and what is bad for you. You start to learn yourself. You start to grow. Your character starts to build, you know.
That mind gets, renewed, transformed, and your outlook on life is a little bit different now. or a lot a bit different, I should say.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we go back to him saying I am. And Pastor Brian was talking about the 7 I am statements.
Yes.
Everybody out there, say 7 of them things. 7 I am statements on why he is who he is. And
Well, let me see if they was paying attention in the chat. Drop one of the 7 that he said.
if you was paying,
yeah, you was paying attention.
say 7
on
of them
Sunday.
things and then give us one of them things.
Yeah, just drop one of them. I ain't even gonna say one. I ain't gonna give y'all no hints.
Oh, damn, we're not gonna dig into it.
Nah, I'm messing.
Okay, I'm gonna pick out the one that I'm gonna pick out the one that stands out to me. Obviously, they all stand out. They're all good. The way, the truth, and the life.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? And I think that to me is like, because people, I think this is the one that's touchy for people. And if you don't, that's John 14:6. If you want to check out where it came from, but that's where people get messed up because they wanna go their own way.
Mm-hmm.
They want to speak their own truth. They want to live their own life.
Yep.
But not realizing the life that God offers through Jesus. Like, it's not a bad thing. It's not like we get so prideful. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not giving my life. You know what I'm saying? But you don't realize, like, what way you can go, what truth you can really stand in, what life you can really have if you were just willing to humble yourself and be like, you know what, God, here you go. Take it and do what you need to do. You're the creator anyway.
Exactly.
You know, you created me. My breath is from you. My life is from you. I might as well just give it to you and let me see what you can do with it. Because then it takes pressure off of me. You know what I'm saying? I'm clearing up room for you to have your way. But when I don't give it to you, I put so much pressure on myself to succeed. I put so much pressure on myself to look a certain way in people's eyes, you know?
And he doesn't want you to do that.
Right.
Like, he's like, man, I got you. He's like,
Right.
just give it to me. He's like, there's no reason why you should be stressing yourself out trying to be successful, trying to achieve all these things that you don't even know if I want them for you.
Right.
And then I'm gonna go into one of the 7 I ams that I liked, and it was the 5th one. I am the resurrection and the life.
Okay.
And this was pertaining to when he pulled up to Lazarus, and he was passed away, or they thought he passed away.
Yeah.
And he pulled up, and he's like, he's like, why are you worried about that? He's like, I am the resurrection. He's like,
Right.
what I say goes.
Right.
And he called Lazarus.
Right.
And then boom, here he comes walking out.
Man.
And it's like, I think when I think of that, when I think of like the resurrection and the life, is that like, I just think of, it's not about me, and it's not about like what I'm doing. I think it's all God controlled, God owned, and is that I can live through him.
Yeah.
And exactly, and it's not about anything that I can get involved with. I don't know. I'm trying to make it make sense, but
we get caught up in the wrong stuff.
Exactly.
Like he literally said, it's not unto death.
exactly.
He said, this is not unto death. And then he showed up and everybody was crying and sad because apparently he died. And Jesus was like, why did y'all wrap him up and put him in the tomb?
Hold on. What I say?
Right, like I told y'all it's not unto death. And then it
Exactly.
made him cry.
Oh.
He said Jesus wept because I'm like, y'all, really? This is I said what I said. You know what I'm saying? But you guys refuse to believe. You know, so I mean, yeah. Knowing, Pastor Brian said, knowing your identity gives way to obedience. And I think the breakdown of this whole message, this whole sermon, was basically figuring out who he is to you.
Mm-hmm.
So you can then figure out who you are, and then you can pursue after the things that he has in you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's all a breakdown of.
Yeah. And he talked about how he postures your heart.
Right.
You know, once you start to know your identity and you flow in obedience, and he postures your heart, because now it's all about that conforming you now to being called to who you are through him.
Right.
Yes. And so that's something I definitely took away as you start to really understand who you are in God.
Right.
Yep.
So for everybody out there to close out, you know, maybe you've been living beneath your identity. Problems that have overtaken you have been because you didn't know who you are or whose you are.
Mm-hmm.
But we're here to tell you and remind you, just like Pastor Brian did on Sunday, we're here to remind you that you are somebody in God. And if you are willing to put him in that supreme place in your life, there is so much room for him to show you the potential that you have. That if you can give him your weaknesses, if you can give him your mistakes, if you can give him your story, he will turn it into his glory. And I know that's kind of cliche, but it's real. He will turn your story into his glory if you just hand it over to him. So we pray for everyone out there that you're able to draw closer to God, that you're able to get this understanding that when you look in the mirror, that you can see God's grace. that you can see God's love, that you don't see what you've been through, you don't see your mistakes, but you see that God has forgiven you, God has covered you, God has given you strength, God has given you peace, and it's there for you, and you have the opportunity now to pursue after the gifts that he has placed in you, to be humble, to continue just hand it over to him, to lean on him to where you don't have to be too stressed out, you don't have to beat yourself up too much. Just keep leaning on him, and he'll always be there for you, and he'll keep leading you and guiding you. It might not always go your way, but he knows what he's doing, and he's going to work it out for his good. We appreciate everybody out there. Yes. We love y'all out there. Thank you for joining us again. If you appreciate the Rewind, look at the link below. Give to the link so that we can keep doing what we do. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Thank you.